Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah and I'm a flower farmer in East Yorkshire in the UK, and I make content about all the kinds of things that are going on my flower farm, from seed sowing to potting on to planting out to preparing flower beds, and all of my natural farming concoctions and the ways that I'm trying to improve my farming techniques over the years. So I'm 6 years into my journey now, and I'm really learning a lot every year. You never stop learning in flower farming, and I really enjoy sharing those experiences with you guys as well. So if you've been following me for a long while, you will remember this time last year I coppiced my eucalyptus trees, and at the time I only coppiced half of them because I was quite nervous about doing them all, because I wasn't sure how it was going to impact the trees. So I decided to do half and wait another year to see what happened with the coppiced trees, and I'm pleased to say that it went really well, and I'll take you outside in a second and show you the coppiced trees. And I got some really nice foliage and things off the eucalyptus trees that I was able to cut, and also it keeps the trees at a manageable size. So some of the trees that I have in my flower field are 5 or 6 years old now, maybe 4-5 years old, and some of them are getting really big. They're probably 15 or 20 foot high, so I really need to chop those down and make them a little bit more manageable, and also give ourselves some more foliage to work with this season. And the other thing that I'm hoping to do is coppice this huge eucalyptus that I've got that's towering above my greenhouse here. And this greenhouse is actually south facing this way, and the west, this is the west over here. So the tree actually does give the greenhouse some shade during the day, which isn't always ideal because we also have a fence behind here, and the conditions in here sometimes get a little bit damp and wet. So I'm hoping that by opening it up a little bit, by removing the top of this tree, that we will be able to get a little bit more sunlight and a little bit less dampness in here. So this tree that is in front of me here now, I'm not going to be coppicing that to the extent that I'm going to be coppicing my other trees, because I still want it to be quite a large garden tree. So I will update you later on how that is going to be coppiced, because I'm not quite sure yet. It's definitely a two-man job, because I need to make sure that the tree isn't going to fall down on top of my greenhouse and smash any of the perspex that is on the roof, and just make sure it falls safely and not onto any of the dogs or anything. So what I'm going to go and do now is chop down the trees that I can manage by myself, and they are going to be cut down to about knee height. And I actually got a garden shredder not so long ago that I got second hand for £10 off a local selling site, and I'm going to try shredding some of the eucalyptus to use as wood chips. And actually you might not know this already, but eucalyptus trees are allelopathic, which means they release chemicals that inhibit other things from growing around them. So if you have a eucalyptus tree, you might notice that things don't necessarily grow that well around them. So if you want to put wood chips, eucalyptus wood chips, down on any of your flower beds or anything, then I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend either composting them first or putting them in an area where you aren't growing anything. So I'm going to wood chip them and set them aside, and then come up with a way to use them afterwards. But for now, I'm just going to chop them down, and then later on I'm going to get my shredder, plug it in, and see if I can shred the eucalyptus trunks. So here I am out in the field. We've got 5 dogs in here today, and one naughty little pig around the corner. Cyril has just escaped from the garden and he is refusing to come back in. So as long as he's not up to no good, I don't mind him being there. So I'm going to keep an eye on him, and I'll show you the trees that I coppiced last year. So this one was coppiced last year. That must be about 7 foot tall now. It kind of has some nice foliage on it. There are some green fly on it. So I might come around and give it a little spray with some worm tea or something. But this is another one that I coppiced. This one's probably about 6 foot tall. And actually we've had some warm weather in the last few days and the leaves are looking nicer than they were before. These tips aren't looking as delicate as they were. This one here is another one that is probably about 8 foot tall. Then another one there, probably about 6 foot. And this one here, about 6 or 7 foot as well. So I'll show you the ones that I have to coppice. These here, I actually don't know how many trees, because some of them look like they're split at the base. I actually don't know how many trees there is here. There's maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But yeah, this one here is extremely tall, and so are a couple of these ones here. So we need to be careful when we are coppicing them. And I also need to give them a bit of a feed as well. I do sometimes when I'm foliar feeding things, I do come around here and just spray what's left in my spray container onto these. So in the past they've had JLF, the Jadam liquid fertiliser, which is just like fermented grass and leaf mould, and they've had a little bit of the fish emulsion that I made last week. If you want to see that video, I'll put it up in the banner above. So let's get on with chopping these trees down. I hope I can get through them with my little handsaw. So as with the eucalyptus that I did last year, I'm going to cut the stump on a slant so that the cut is facing south, so that the sun is going to dry out that stump and help it to heal so we don't get any infections in the eucalyptus. And I'm going to trim off everything that is below the stump so that the stump is forced to regrow new stems from the coppicing. I just want to take a moment to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this week's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of interesting courses to choose from. Whether you want to improve an existing skill or learn something new, Skillshare has something for everyone. There are classes on jewellery making, learning languages, cooking and baking, photography and art. The list goes on. I even spotted some flower arranging classes on there which might be of interest to you flower growers. Skillshare is ad-free, so you won't get disrupted by those annoying mid-video adverts and you can stay in the creative zone. Recently, I took a class on Yoga for Flexibility by Abby Carver. It's so important to stay flexible when you're doing physical work every day. Abby's course is a quick 15-minute stretching session each day for 15 days, which should improve flexibility within a couple of weeks. If you fancy exploring what Skillshare has to offer, then click the link in my description to sign up for a free trial. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to join will get a 1-month free trial. Back to the video. So we've got all of the field eucalyptuses coppiced that are the right size to be coppiced now at this time of year. And I'm moving on now to this huge eucalyptus tree here. And we kind of just want to reduce the size of this tree, so we're not going to be coppicing it. It's going to be more of like a pollarding slash well, basically we're just going to be reducing the size of it by half. So Rob's going to help me see if we can lean a ladder up against it and cut it down by about half, and then trim down the shoots that are putting on new growth, and then hopefully that will help to bush out the tree and stop it from growing into such a tall tree. And I've actually just found this eucalyptus fertilizer, which was kindly gifted to me by Hilary from hardyeucalyptus.com, and I recommend going to Hilary's website, hardy-eucalyptus.com. I'll put the link down in the description. Check out that website for any information about growing, coppicing, pollarding eucalyptus. The website is just full of information, and also you can buy eucalyptus trees for all different purposes on that website too, and also the fertilizer. So this just gets sprinkled around the base of the tree and then watered in, so I'm going to be doing that to my eucalyptus trees today. So while I'm out here, I thought I would give you an update on the eucalyptuses that I planted this season. So I purchased quite a few eucalyptus gunai trees from Reeton Nursery on my trip there to the nursery when I went. I think it was in October time last year. I made a video about it if you want to check that out. But these have been planted in the ground and they are putting on some new growth, so they are looking good. I think I put about 6 or 7 in, and they are around this kind of area where all of the shrubs are. So they've just been dotted around, and there's another one. So this area kind of usually is mulched with straw every year just to keep the weeds down, and it seems to create a nice mulch for the eucalyptus trees, and they seem to be thriving quite well in this area, so I'll probably just continue doing that for the years to come. And then here is my new bed of eucalyptus that I planted at the start of this year, and this has 2 different varieties. One of them is Eucalyptus pulverulenta, and I can't remember the other one, but I'll put it up on the screen when I remember what it is. These are looking a little bit pathetic, and when I first put them in they looked fine. The pulverulenta's definitely doing better than the Eucalyptus globulus, that's it. So the globulus is looking a little bit worse for wear. There's a couple that I think have just died, and a couple are looking a bit more pathetic. So I'm hoping when it warms up, those are going to start thriving. We will see. I'll probably sprinkle a little bit of this fertiliser around them just to make sure that they are getting the nutrients that they need. But yeah, they're doing okay so far. We just really need some warm weather to boost the growing conditions for them, and we'll see what happens as the season progresses and how tall they get. So what I forgot to mention was that these 2 varieties, Eucalyptus globulus and pulverulenta, they were both grown from seed, and quite easily grown from seed as well. And I've got probably another 40 or so seedlings that I've sown and germinated this season, so we'll see how they do for the next year or so. Grow them on into pots and then possibly plant them out next season. I'm not sure how. I would love to know how. I've seen that some farmers in the US use eucalyptus as a annual, sort of like grow it as an annual just for the foliage, but I can never get much growth on it in the first year, so I would love to know how people are doing that. Is it to do with the climate maybe, or interested to know, how do you grow your eucalyptus? If you are growing it as an annual, let me know. Well, it didn't smash the greenhouse, that's one good thing.
Wait a second. Or your husband.
Or my husband. So that's it, guys. All of the eucalyptus is coppiced again for the year, pruned, fertilised, and we managed to chip some as well. So I'm thinking I'm going to compost the chip, or find, if there's somewhere where I'm not looking to grow some plants nearby that needs mulching, then I might use a bit of mulch, eucalyptus mulch for that. But It's just going to go into storage for now, so we'll see what comes of that. So I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you again next time.